What's up, everybody, and welcome on back to the episode of the My Side of Things podcast. This is now episode 24. I'm your host, as always, Ash, and this is the official 24th episode. The last episode was episode 23. I don't know how the heck I got that mistaken. We've only got like 20-something episodes in, and I'm already messing up, man. My goodness. But we got a few things on the docket to get to today, including talking about Fenix's position within WWE right now, and I guess Penta as well. We're also going to be talking about Bayne's current run in AEW. We're going to talk about a few of the other major signings that happened around 2025, late 2024 as well. We're also going to be talking about any wrestlers that may be on the move this year, and we got to talk about who are the best champions of today, and of these champions, who can have the best possible run within the amount of time they're going to be given to be champion. But as always, though, wherever you're listening to this on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you hit the like, the follow, the share, the rate, the commenting, all of that great stuff, notification bells as well to always get notified when new episodes do drop like Piper Nibbins. But let's go ahead and start off with Fenix and Penta, though, because more so, again, Fenix, not Penta. I think a lot of people when I made my post on TikTok, I think people were kind of not understanding fully what I'm saying about the Fenix situation. And it's more so that Fenix and Penta have been booked very differently. Also, if I sound like sick, by the way, it's because my voice has just been going to shits these past couple of days. It's a lot of talking. So yeah, no, it's just not the greatest right now. I'm going to try to power through this dang episode though. But yeah, no, when it comes to Fenix, it's just, things are very odd, because if you look at the way him and Penta have been booked since coming into WWE, Penta's gotten the great entrance music, Fenix got the horrible entrance music. Penta doesn't have all these stupid strobe lights that affect, watching his entrance. Fenix, you literally can't even watch his without getting a dang seizure. I'm gonna tell you right now, I cannot watch this man's entrance at all without my head hurting. I feel like my head is still hurting because of that dang Fenix entrance. And it's just, it feels like Fenix hasn't been giving any kind of feuds either, as opposed to Penta. Heck, even look at Aleister Black right now. He came back to WWE, and what is he doing? Feuding with Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. Look at Rusev coming back to WWE. What is he doing? Picking up on his Redeemer gimmick. What is Fenix doing, though? He's literally just having matches every so often. He somehow got involved in the whole El Grande Americano stuff because Rey Mysterio got hurt and you just needed some luchador to fight against El Grande, but it took a big loss at WrestleMania. That match never hit its second wind at all. It's why I said Dragon Lee should have been in the match, because if you're going to put Rey there, I feel like Rey should have got the win, not El Grande, or at least if you're going to have him take the loss, not do it, I guess, technically speaking, not cleanly, even though you lose. Oh, what am I? If you're going to have to get a loss, don't have it be in the way that looks more so like a clean loss. Because technically speaking, even though El Grande put that little thing in his mask, he did kind of lose cleanly, if we're going to be fair, because Logan Paul wins the exact same way by having metal plates in his hands. So it's kind of the exact same thing here with El Grande, or else we're just going to say every one of Logan Paul's victories is not a clean win. And if we're saying that, hey man, I ain't got no problem saying that. I got zero problem with saying that. But no, I think like him losing to El Grande, it either should have transitioned him over to Monday Night Raw, or no, actually no, it's not even an either thing. It should have transitioned him over to Monday Night Raw to continue feuding with El Grande. Actually, or instead, you should have just had Penta be the one in the match. I don't know why we needed Penta in the Fatal 4-Way. I mean, obviously, you were kind of already setting up to it, but to be fair, you were also setting up to Braun Breaker versus AJ Styles, and we didn't get that. So why couldn't we just pivot last second and have El Grande take out Penta, and then that causes Penta, or no, not take out, but attack Penta, and that causes Penta to get distracted from the whole, the Fatal 4-Way, and then have Penta go after El Grande. And if we wanted to, we could have just put someone else in that Fatal 4-Way. I think that would have been really dang easy, to be honest. Or had it just be a triple threat at WrestleMania, one of the two. Heck, you only let one guy show out in the match anyway, so it's not like you need a Penta there. He didn't really look the greatest in the match. Kind of just did a whole lot of something and nothing. But yeah, no, it just feels like Penta's not really, Fenix isn't really doing much right now in WWE. And it kind of goes back to what I said about Fenix the entire time with just everything around him, is that Fenix is just a great wrestler. He's just an absolutely awesome wrestler, fun to see in the ring. But that's really just where it ends. I think Penta has a lot more marketability because of the whole Cero Miedo thing. He has the awesome mask. I think Rey Fenix's mask is cool. Don't get me wrong. I think it's actually really dang cool. I would love to have the mask. The double mask thing was getting odd, though. I didn't really get that too much. I never actually gotten that, to be honest. It always felt like some running joke that apparently I just wasn't getting. So yeah. But yeah, no, I've always felt like Penta just had a lot more marketability when it came to him because he just seemed so different than all the other luchadors. He's not like a high-flying luchador. He's not really like a striking luchador either. He's more like a grab specialist luchador. And I think the only one we had was Redacted. I ain't going to say that man's name. Y'all can say his name if y'all want to. So yeah, no, we haven't really ever had like a luchador like Penta before. So I think that also, opened up a lot of people's eyes. I really feel like, I really just feel like Rey Fenix probably should have debuted with Penta. It doesn't feel like they should have been separated. Lucha Bros easily could have been the Raw Tag Team Champions right now. If you were going to buy out Rey Fenix's contract all along, why not just buy it out before? They could have both debuted, what was that, around before the Royal Rumble? That was that early January? That might have been early January. Sorry for the peeking. I was hitting my mic on my head. My bad about that. But yeah, no, I think that was around like early January. That's the exact same thing I would have done with Rey Fenix. I would have bought his contract out and then just had him debut early January. And if you think that WWE ain't got money for Rey Fenix, come on, they got money to give Rey Fenix. I think what it really was they just did not want to pay Tony Khan the money. I think that's what it more so was until it just became a thing of like, okay, we'll just pay you the dang money. But and they probably gave him a lot less than he would have gotten because there would have been like a few more months on his contract. But again, I think they could have just paid Tony Khan and say, you know what, we're giving this man some money, but hey, we're bringing in the Lucha Bros. It's going to be super dang big for our tag division. And yeah, they just didn't do it. Honestly, you could have paid them last year just to get out of the whole Rey Fenix thing. I mean, just to get Rey Fenix over, but didn't want to do that either. So I don't really know. But I just feel like the whole handling of Rey Fenix right now, it feels very Andrade-esque. It feels every luchador with a mask-esque, where it's like, the only one that's ever going to ever get over for WWE is Rey Mysterio. None of the other luchadors that wear masks are ever going to get over. Penta has a chance. I think the only thing that's going to probably hold Penta back is just his age right now, because he's already like 40, 41 years old. So it's like, how many more years does he actually have left in WWE? Does he have a world title run in him? Will WWE actually go down that route? Again, luchadors, WWE, not always the greatest thing. I think the last two luchadors to win a world title were Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. I don't think there's been a luchador since to win a world title. And I don't even think there's many. Oh my gosh. Is Dominic Mysterio the first luchador to win a mid-card title? I think not the first. The first since, Rey Mysterio wasn't that long ago, but is he the first one besides Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero to win a mid-card title? Because I don't think Redacted won one. He might have won one, but I don't think he did. And then Sin Cara didn't win one. Dragon Lee, if you want to count the North American title, yes, but I'm more so main roster. I think Dom is the first one. Maybe I'm blanking on somebody. Maybe there is some luchador there that did win it. I could just be forgetting it. But I think the only ones within the past, 10, 15 years have been Rey and Eddie. So yeah, no, look, it's a bit early. Yes, I completely understand that. Rey Mysterio, I'm probably going to say that a couple more times. Rey Fenix just barely got there at the beginning of April. Penta got there in January. Yes, I know. It's very early still to be judging their entire careers and to be super worried about them. But, I think it's fair to say to be worried about them, just to be with the history given to us, are they going to get pushed? Especially Rey Fenix. I think Rey Fenix is a phenomenal talent. I think he's somebody that could easily be a star within that mid-card scene. I think Penta probably has more of the world title potential. I think Rey Fenix could be an absolutely phenomenal U.S. champion, IC champion. I'd love to see open challenges from him. I'd love to see people just feuding with him and just be a baby face. So he doesn't really have to, do so much on the mic. I would love to see. And I'm not saying do so much on the mic because he can't speak English. No, I think his mic work, even when he speaks Spanish, it's cool. There's not much charisma there though. It's just cool. Penta has a lot more of it. I'm not trying to make this a Penta versus Rey thing, but I do think Penta is just way better all around than Rey Fenix, and I think WWE probably sees that as well. And it's probably we're gonna give a lot to Penta, and then Rey Fenix, we're gonna kind of just do whatever with. I have also written down here, I forgot to kind of talk about this. I don't like the fact that Rey Fenix's first WrestleMania loss is to a dude mocking Lucha Libre, because obviously that's what El Grande is. It's a person under a mask who's not a part of Lucha Libre mocking Lucha Libre. Whoever this person is, I don't know who the heck they are, but yeah, I don't really fully like that in my opinion. It's just not the greatest thing. Like, honestly, I would have brought the Lucha Bros in just to work with Rey Mysterio, because it feels like they're going in that direction. Like, I feel like at some point in time this year, Rey and Penta are going to be working with Rey Mysterio. And if that was always the case, why not just bring them in like that? Like, the way that I would have brought them in, which was my TikTok video, and everybody mocked me, well, laughed at me saying, oh, why bring them in with LWO? They don't need to be around LWO. You can't put every Latin wrestler together. I wasn't putting every Latin wrestler together because I wanted to. I put them together because that's what WWE would do. But what I would have done was I would have took out Cruz and Joaquin, had them get injured by American Made. Then I would have had it just be Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee left. I'm not kind of like Ivy, Nile, and Zelina. I'm saying like around, I think when Zelina left to SmackDown, so around that time period. So then I would have had Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio have a match against the Creed brothers, or against maybe like Chad Gable and one of the Creed brothers, whoever's not in that match, they take out Dragon Lee in the match, they injure his ankle, and then Rey's just left to be by himself, and here goes American Made about to jump him, and then here come the Lucha Bros to back him up. That sets up to a big WrestleMania match with Rey Mysterio, the Lucha Bros versus El Grande and the Creed brothers. Obviously, Chad would be sick because, you know, he get a little under the weather sometimes, and we could have even done the whole El Grande thing being introduced as well. Would have been really dang cool. And then, yeah, be just a really great match between these three guys these six guys that I think would have been better to end this whole thing here at WrestleMania instead of dragging this out the rest of the year. Because I'm going to be real with you, unless Chad Gable gets the IC belt from Dominic Mysterio, I just don't think that there's going to be any real big payoff for the for either of the Lucha Bros, whether it's Penta or Rey, to get the belt off of El Grande Americano. And it's more so a thing of like, this storyline is just literally to go at all the luchadors. Who's benefiting from this though if there's no title involved? It's like, okay, cool, you beat El Grande, you unmasked him, and you stopped the whole mockery of Lucha Libre. But I literally just talked about how there hasn't been many luchadors to do much in WWE. They ain't getting much world titles, they ain't getting much mid-card titles, so are you really taking down the ones mocking Lucha Libre, or are you not? I don't know. I don't think it's just the greatest storyline. I think the whole El Grande thing should have already been done with. Ending it at WrestleMania would have been perfect. Having Rey Fenix or Penta defeat him would have been just absolutely amazing, instead of having the storyline continue for the rest of the dang year, possibly. And also, I'm not saying that El Grande is Chad Gable, but if El Grande is Chad Gable, having Rey Fenix lose to Chad Gable, who's been basically more or less a jobber for the past umpteenth amount of years now, beside that one little spurt where he was going against Gunther, yeah, just not the greatest loss in my opinion. Just not the greatest of losses. So yeah, no, but yeah, no, as far as anybody else that went to WWE, it's really hard to grade them right now, like Aleister Black, Rusev. I think they're just doing great things, storylines, even though Rusev's going against Alpha Academy. I don't really care for that. Well, no, is it Alpha Academy? There's like 3 different versions of this dang group. It's American Made, American Alpha, yeah, that was the first one, and then Alpha Academy. Yeah, even though he's going against them, I think it's at least doing something with the whole thing. You're bringing back the Redeemer gimmick. A lot of people love that gimmick for Rusev. So there is that. Aleister Black feuding with Carmelo and Miz. I think it's fine for right now. If he doesn't get the Money in the Bank, that's going to be annoying. Also, that was the other big thing I had written down here. Both of these guys are going to be missing Money in the Bank. Talking about Rey Fenix and Penta, because they're going to be at the Worlds Collide pay-per-view. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm going to be real with you. This just feels like a DEI signing at this point. What the heck are we doing with Rey Fenix and Penta? No, that's the fact that both these guys are going to be missing Money in the Bank when they really should be at Money in the Bank because of all the crazy spots that we could get with these guys. Why are we doing this? This is just, no. But yeah, no, I hope Aleister is at least at Money in the Bank. Rusev probably should be at Money in the Bank as well. You got to get some of your big signings in there. If you're not going to get Rey and Penta, you do got to get these guys. On AEW side of things, I'll talk about Megan Bayne in a second because I have more to say about her. Speedball Mike Bayley, I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's just a fantastic wrestler. Not much outside of that. He's kind of like Ray Fenix in a sense. So just having him be at least in feuds is great. I think that you're at least doing something with him. Kevin Knight, kind of the same thing. Great wrestler. Not much outside of that. So you're at least having him be in, big stuff at least. He's in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. He got to replace, Jay White. He's technically in a tag team with Speedball Mike Bayley as Jet Speed. And I think he's supposed to be doing, he did have a Ricochet feud, and I don't know where the heck that went. I'm going to be real with you. Maybe it's the next one, because I think Ricochet does need a win over Mark Briscoe just to kind of look like at least more credible of a heel. So I'm going to say that one's probably not the greatest handled, but yeah, you probably could have held off on the whole Kevin Knight Ricochet stuff, to be honest. Yeah, no, that one's. But again, like it's hard with him because he is literally like only a couple weeks in, as opposed to Ray Fenix, who's like now a whole entire month, 2 months in. And then who's the other one? I just blanked on his name. I literally just said his name. Speedball, Kevin Knight. Oh, Josh Alexander. Look, I have like a whole storyline that I've talked about before with Josh Alexander. I'll say right now, it's not the greatest of booking. You're throwing him in the Don Callis family, so some storyline at least there, but he's just taking all the pins. He's literally just eating all of Konosuke Takeshi's pins, which obviously you don't want Konosuke Takeshi to be eating any pins because you are building him up to be a superstar. But it's like, I don't like it so much for, why do I keep blanking on this guy's name? Josh Alexander. Oh, okay, you know what? Maybe this is why they're not pushing him. Gosh, I can't remember the man's name. But yeah, no, I don't fully like it for Alexander. I wish he was doing something else. I think right now bringing him in was probably not the greatest idea. He probably should have went to Ring of Honor, been able to do more there, and then come up to WWE. Then come up to AEW's roster a little later on. Probably could say the same thing about Speedball. To be honest, he should have went down to Ring of Honor. Kevin Knight, same thing. So yeah, I feel like these guys also are having real struggles right now. Honestly, I think the only great signing, not only great sign. Well, these are all great signings. I think the only one that's been pushed properly is probably Megan Bayne, because even like Penta, he's literally been feuding with Dom the entire time and has had the exact same ending to a match happen, like that involved Dom 3 to 4 times now. Actually 5. Just somebody getting involved. It's literally just somebody getting involved every single time, and that somebody is Judgment Day every single dang time. Also, 2 main events that he's had against Dominic Mysterio, or not 2 main events, 2 matches that he's had specifically against Dominic Mysterio have been because of Judgment Day involvement that he's lost. So, yeah, no, I think the only one that's been actually booked properly is Megan Bayne. If I had to give all these bookings a grade, I would give, aside from Megan Bayne, I would give Penta probably a C plus B minus. I would give Speedball about a C plus. I would give Kevin Knight about a C minus. I would give Josh Alexander probably like a D plus, C minus. And I would give Ray Fenix probably like a D minus. I'm gonna be real with you. It's not horrible because at least you put him in some matches, but you're just putting the guy in matches and it just feels like you're just holding off on the whole tag team thing. So yeah, no. As far as Megan Bayne, though, I feel like she's been booked like an absolute superstar. This woman is she is super protected in every single one of her matches. She has only lost, I think, 1 match, 1 singles match. She's won all the other matches, I think, besides maybe 1 tag match she lost, but I would be hard-pressed to believe that she actually did lose a match other than the one to Toni Storm. Yeah, no, every other match, she's literally just looked like an absolute monster. She's looked the exact same way that she's looked the exact way that I believe she needed to look, where you put her against veterans like Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa. You're pairing her up with Penelope Ford. That's great for her to be able to, work on mic and character work, because Penelope Ford can do both of those while getting to work against former AEW World and TBS champions. You put her up against Toni Storm, perfect person to work against as well, to be able to learn what it takes to be a women's world champion. And now you're putting it up against Anna Jay, one of the most decorated in terms of wins within AEW's women's division. And you also have Harley Cameron involved in this feud as well, which is saving Harley Cameron, because I felt like she needed something to do, and this is a great thing to at least be doing with her for the time being. Again, I still stand on what I said in the last episode, that I feel like she should be doing more, but this is about Megan Bayne, not about Harley Cameron. But yeah, no, I think that, you've done right by Megan Bayne. You put her against people that she needs to be put against. You've taken her out of the high-profile feuds because she doesn't need to be there right now. She needs to be more so where she can be learning and getting a lot of ring experience because she does have the look of a champion. You put the belt on her, it's going to look absolutely phenomenal. She's probably one of the few folks that can wear the belt around their waist and actually look great with it. So you're building up a potential super duper mega star. You're doing her the way that you probably should have done Jade Cargill. Sadly, there wasn't enough veterans within AEW to really do that with Jade because, it was still pretty early in its inception. So I'm not like the most mad. I kind of wish they would have pushed Jade a little slower, had her in Ring of Honor for a lot longer, but yeah, no, they didn't want to do that. But yeah, no, I think that Megan Bayne has been pushed. Like, I don't want to say perfectly by any means, but it's damn near close to perfect. Like, I give this like an A booking as far as what they've done with Megan Bayne because, again, she lost to Toni Storm. And you can be mad about that all you want. You can say that, Toni should have lost and all that stuff. Toni's not losing. Toni is a super duper mega star. She is probably the biggest wrestler in the world right now. She is backpacking AEW. Not saying that AEW is bad by any means, but she is literally carrying AEW right now. Again, not saying it's bad, but she's just a super duper mega uber freaking star, and you're not taking the belt off of her right now because you need her to at least hold it until All In and then take the belt off of her. You need to be able to get as much as you possibly can from Toni Storm right now while she is the hottest that she's ever been and is arguably the hottest wrestler in the world right now. Then you could have Megan Bayne get it later on. Can you say that, should you have had Megan Bayne be in the Owen Hart Cup tournament and then dethrone Toni at All In? Yes, but you also want to pay back Jamie Hayter if she is the one to dethrone Toni Storm, or you want to give it to Mercedes before, she possibly does leave, because Mercedes Moné is such an influential, impactful woman right now in women's wrestling that she does deserve that AEW Women's World Champion. Jamie Hayter, after her last run ended because of injury, you do want to finish that up at least. And I think Megan Bayne could have thrown either one of them to get the AEW Women's World Championship. So yeah, I think Megan Bayne is just fine right now. I think if you're like super worried about Megan Bayne, it's probably because of the whole Jade Cargill situation. So I do understand your worries. I would say just take a deep breath. She's going to be fine. I think she's going to be getting either the Women's World Championship or the TBS Championship before this year does end, and she's going to have a spectacular run with it. And I really do hope that when she becomes the Women's World Champion or either belt, that they allow Penelope Ford to really just be her manager and speak for her on the mic, because Megan Bayne definitely can't speak on the mic. I'm sorry, man. I've heard her even when she be doing them little yellings back and forth with anybody. It just don't really sound the greatest acting in the world, to be honest. But yeah, no, I think she's going to be fine, though. There's no reason to worry about Megan Bayne at all. At least right now, no, she's perfectly fine. But speaking of wrestlers and the ones that are being signed and all that stuff, let's go ahead and talk about wrestlers that are most likely to leave their current promotion. Now, first up, we have Konosuke Takeshita, and don't worry, AEW fans, this is his New Japan contract. I think he probably won't re-sign with New Japan. I think he'll still work New Japan, but I don't think he's going to re-sign because I see him getting either the Unified International Continental Belt if it does unify, or at least he'll get one of the two belts, or he gets the World Championship by the end of this year. Most likely the Unified Belt, or again, however that belt, or however those belts play out. And I just think that it's not going to be a thing of like he needs to be in New Japan as much. I think with a contract, he's more so, it's going to be, now contracted dates. You got to be here. You got to be here. That might conflict with AEW. So I think that he might just going forward work a partnership with them. I don't know if this is like a re-upped contract or not. It doesn't say anything about that. So I'm assuming that this might be the last time that he does sign with New Japan, at least for the time being. Maybe later on in the future he'll sign with them again. But I think as of right now, he's probably just going to be doing AEW more so for the future, because he's only like 29, 30 years old. So I think by the time he's probably like 35, 36, 37, somewhere around there. Maybe then he'll re-sign with New Japan again. But we might not be seeing Takeshita there as much as we did this past year. Now, TNA has the Hardys, both late 2025. I think they're gone. They are going back to WWE. And I think Joe Hendry as well. He's also late 2025. It's not sure the exact date for him. For the Hardys, it is November. I think they're both just going to go over to WWE, whether it be the Hardys going to WWE's main roster and Hendry going to NXT, or Hendry going to the main roster as well. I think Trick Williams does dethrone him. I think Trick Williams is going to become the new TNA World Champion, and that'll kind of just be like a way to slowly transition Hendry out of the TNA scene and just over to the NXT scene, and then eventually give him the NXT championship. I just don't see these guys staying. I mean, I don't think that they've been able to retain one person that's been on the way out, whether it be Speedball, Josh Alexander, Jordan Grace. Who else am I thinking of? There's been a few other ones that have also left as well. I just don't see it actually continuing to go forward with them. I don't think anybody's going to want to really re-sign too much, especially their bigger stars. Maybe some of the smaller ones, they will. Like, maybe Nick Nemeth re-sign. Maybe Mustafa re-signs. Nick Nemeth probably could easily go back to WWE, though, if he really, really wanted to. But I think a lot of the other ones, though, they're probably going to be on their way out. Like, I think when Masha's contract ends, she might be on the way out. I think when Moose's contract ends, he might end up staying just because he is a lot older. So he might end up staying. Indy, though, I think she might end up going back. She's kind of alluded to how that door's not closed now. She would love to return one day. So I think she might end up going back as well. So, yeah, TNA ain't looking the greatest right now. Now I'm going to go WWE next because they have less people. First up is Dragon Lee, who is signed through 2025. I think he's gone. I think once this contract ends, it's going to be it for him. I think he goes to CMLL. I think that'd be great for him to kind of get his feet wet again. He ain't really been doing much in WWE ever since getting up to the main roster. He has just been an absolute ball dropper, in my opinion. I would be surprised if he signed. I think the only way he would actually re-sign is if they guaranteed him to be the AAA mega champion or whatever the hell it's called. And even then, I don't even know if he would take that because it's why go there when you could just easily go to CMLL? I feel like it's much better, and then you could also work with AEW, New Japan, and work the Indies and all that stuff. So I think he might end up leaving. Angel Garza, I think probably also the same thing as well. What is their names? Legado del Fantasma, they ain't really doing much. I think it does depend on what happens with Humberto if he ends up going as well. But I think Angel Garza is probably going to be on his way out too. He might be someone that signs with AAA maybe though. Maybe they do that instead. But I think also CMLL would be great for him to kind of, find himself by 2027. Because he is signed until late 2027. He'd be about 34, 35 years old. I think he'd still have at least a good 5 to 7 years left of being able to be a great wrestler. If he could find himself within a year or so, like Dragon Lee, I think that he could be a star, especially because he can, the language barrier is not going to be an issue for him because he can speak really good English. So he is going to be an absolute star. I think he could be a amazing heel in the Indies. I think he can get picked up by another company as well. So yeah, I think Angel Garza is probably gone. And then Bayley. This one is a very, very interesting one because I think it depends on everything that has to do with Mercedes Moné. If she re-signs to AEW, I think Bayley goes to AEW. If she doesn't, I think Bayley stays in WWE. But I could see Bayley on the way out for sure. I was talking to somebody and they said what if all this stuff was a work just for the Evolution pay-per-view to be hyping that up even more and more, that you have all these women, like Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch and Bayley and all the other women talking about just women empowerment and women ages and not really feeling respected by their companies and all that. And I was like, it could be possible. It could all be possible. I think Bayley, though, is probably going to be on the way out because I think Mercedes re-signs with AEW. I don't see a real reason to go back to WWE, especially if Bayley is possibly leaving. You're not going to get your four horsewomen's match, so what are we really doing? And they had it in NXT, but on the main roster, so it's what are you really doing? You see the way the women are kind of pushed right now, especially the older women. She'll be probably, I think 34 by the time going back, and for WWE that kind of is old, man. For WWE, not for me. I think that 34 is a fine age. I think you should still be getting pushed, especially as a woman. It just I don't know. I think Bayley's probably gone. I think Bayley will be about 37, 36 next year. So I think she's probably gone. It is late 2026. So that's around, that's probably around October to December. I could see Bayley popping up at World's End. I really, really could see that. I could see her popping up at Full Gear. I could see her popping up at Wrestle Dream. Oh, nah, hold on. That might be cold. Mercedes has a match at Wrestle Dream, and then we get Bayley popping up. Hey, that's a dream right there. That is a dream wrestling match. We've had it before. But seeing this version of Mercedes and, this version of Bayley outside of WWE, being able to see what she could fully look like, oh, no, that might be elite. I think Wrestle Dream or World's End is going to be two top tier ones, especially if like you bring Bayley as like this mega baby face and you have Mercedes being like a top heel. Oh, World's End might be cold too. I ain't going to lie to you, man. Yeah, no, I think Bayley ends up leaving as well, though. And then for AEW, I'm going to leave the obvious name for last. We're going to go ahead and talk about that person last. Scorpio Sky, I think he does leave. I think he goes to TNA. I think there's just not really much there for him in AEW. He is a bit older. I could also see him going to WWE to be Jade Cargill's manager. I did not know that him and Jade Cargill, I think, are married. I've seen a bunch of wedding pictures of those two, so I'm assuming they're married. I could see him being her manager. I think she does need a manager. He'd be a great manager. So I can see him being her manager. Alex Reynolds, I think he leaves as well. He signed through Scorpio Sky is signed until October 26th. Or October 2026. Alex Reynolds is signed until mid-2026. I think maybe this is where Lucha Bros are getting like a major push. Bring in Alex Reynolds, maybe even buy him out a little earlier, allow him to be their manager, helps him out a lot more, get back to that elite status that they were. I could see him possibly leaving, especially like if he's not gonna do anything with like Commander, because I don't even know where that Commander's been. I'm gonna be real with you. So I think it might be a possibility that Alex Reynolds is possibly gonna be on the way out as well. Chris Jericho signed until until December 2025. I think he's probably gone. I think he goes right back to WWE. He's been talking about, WWE as of recent. I think he's just probably on the way out. And that's fine. There's not much else for him to do in AEW. Go back to WWE, get your little Hall of Fame. And yeah, I hope everything goes well for him in WWE. I thank him for everything he's done for AEW. He's done a lot to put AEW on the map. And he's brought a lot of guys over. He's obviously helped a lot of guys out in AEW. So, yeah, no, man, he's done some work for Ring of Honor as well. So, yeah, no, I don't have any hate for the guy by any means, other than a few things that have to do with him. But shout out to what he's done for AEW. Jon Moxley, I'm gonna be real with you. He's signed until 2027, like until the end of 2027. So by 2028, he's like 43 years old. Roman Reigns is probably on the way out. He said he got about like a couple years, or it's reported that he has like 1 or 2 years left. Seth Rollins probably has about a couple years left, all his injuries. I think he's not going back to WWE. Like maybe he just goes back for like a Hall of Fame thing with the Shield and that's it. But I think Jon Moxley by the end of 2027, he's probably just done wrestling. I think he just retires and that's just it. So he goes and gets his little Hall of Fame stuff with the Shield. Maybe get like a little like a Hall of Fame. AEW doesn't have one, but like some kind of like big just send off for him in AEW for everything that he's done for the company. Because like I said, he's arguably the face of AEW, the pillar, the very first pillar of AEW. He's just done everything that he possibly can to make the company as great as he can. He's done an absolutely fantastic job. So I think by 2027, he's probably on his way out and just gonna go home and just spend time with Renee and all that stuff. Renee is also signed until the end of 2025. She has 2 contracts. I'm assuming one is just as like I guess a talent. I don't know. It says talent and producer. I don't know. I don't really know. I think she just resigned until whenever Jon Moxley's done. I think she'll sign through 2027, and then we'll see what goes on from there. Maybe she'll stay in AEW, continue to do what she does with RJ. Maybe she'll dip out as well. Who really knows? But yeah, no, I think she's probably just done, in my opinion. And then the big one that y'all have been wondering about. I've spoke about her multiple times. I don't think I need to speak too heavily on this. The Glamour Mariah May signed until the summer of 2025. Man, I don't know, man. I'm talking myself into this whole Return to Double or Nothing thing. I talked myself into a big old storyline between the two with her and Mina and all them. It's very possible that maybe she just has one final send-off with AEW and does like a whole thing with Mina Shirakawa to put her over, and then that eventually gets Mina back, and like that gets Mina into some like top scene pictures, top title scene or top card pictures and stuff like that. I'm gonna go out on a limb though, and I'm gonna say Mariah May resigns. I think she comes back at Double or Nothing, and she announces that she's gonna basically be in AEW for the foreseeable future. Or probably just announces that she's going to be signed to AEW, pulling like kind of like an MJF minus a tattoo, or maybe even adding the tattoo. Who knows? But yeah, no, I think Mariah May is going to be re-signing with AEW. Again, when I look at WWE's title picture scene right now, even in NXT, I just don't think there's there's not like much for Mariah May to really get into. The world title picture is gonna be stacked with Rhea. You're gonna have the SmackDown the SmackDown Women's Championship is gonna be stacked right now with Jade and possibly even Charlotte. Tiffany's still going to be holding that belt. I think they're not going to be giving up on Jade for Mariah, in my opinion. NXT, maybe. Also, Stephanie might get called up to go for the U.S. title. No, for the IC. No, wait, no, my bad. Stephanie might get called up, and that's going to end up pushing Mariah May even further down, whichever division it is. Julia's on SmackDown now. She probably gets the U.S. title soon. You're going to have Becky and Lyra and Roxanne probably fighting over the Raw Women's Women's IC title. You have the NXT North American Championship that maybe she can get, but sure, I guess. The NXT Women's Championship, it's Stephanie and Jordynne Grace right now. If Jordynne gets it, she's going to be holding that thing for a minute. Then again, they kind of been flip-flopping that belt all around, so who knows? Maybe Mariah could get in there. So yeah, I think she probably just re-signs with AEW, especially if they do, or at least if they have told her about a possible tag team belts being revealed, or just some big storyline that she'll have with Mina Shirakawa. One of the two. I think she does resign. But yeah, no, there is always a possibility that she could leave as well. And I've said before, I'm not mad if she does. I think AEW, once again, should not overly pay for her. If you overpay for her like a tad bit, fine. If you go let's just say the contract is 4 years, 20 million. Let's lowball to say 20 million. I'm not going to pay like $5-10 million more for her. I'm not doing it personally. I think you're just asking to go bankrupt. Unless you just have the super duper mega overly awesome storyline planned out for Mariah, Mina, and Toni that you think is just going to do even better than Mariah and Toni did. That's the only way I'm overpaying for her. The only way, because then at least I will get my money back. But if you don't have that storyline planned, which I don't think you do, I say just let her walk and hope the best for her in WWE. Maybe one day she comes back to AEW. But let's go ahead and end things off by talking about the best current champions of today and who will have the best championship reign when their reigns do end. So we're going to start off with the top men's champions of Obafemi, John Cena, Jey Uso, and Jon Moxley. And as of right now, I think Obafemi is going to have the worst of these four reigns. It's already just been kind of to say the least. It's really a issue of amazing NXT North American Championship run, ran through everybody, and now he has no opponents. So he's been fighting the same guys for basically the past couple of months now, and he's going to continue to fight Trick Williams going forward. If Trick Williams does not get the TNA World Championship, it's just going to be... Oh, man. It feels very Gunther-esque, and I hate it for Oba because I hope that this doesn't ruin Oba going up to the main roster. I hope he doesn't get a mid-card title, and then he gets the world title, and the world title just sucks, but his mid-card run is great. I really hope that does not happen with him, but he's probably had the worst of runs, and I think it's just not going to get any better going forward because there's not much opponents lined up for him. John Cena, I think, is next. I think John Cena is just going to have a whatever run. This run has already just been kind of I don't think there's much to it. This is like fast food, man. There ain't really much, loving this run. It's just been like, hey, man, let's just get this thing done to get this thing done. And we know when it's going to end, which is the end of the year. And he's likely not walking out with the belts. So, yeah, and I don't think any of these other feuds are going to be like anything amazing by any means. I told y'all before, and I'll tell y'all again, John Cena, CM Punk, last time they faced each other in a big old feud, the promos against each other were not that great. When they were by themselves, awesome. Together, not that great. The matches were really good, but right now, John Cena is not in the shape that he was in when he obviously was at that point in his career, and neither is CM Punk, so I don't know if these two old men will be able to be in a match together and have a 5-star match, or even a 4-star match. So... yeah, I think he's going to have the third worst run of the three. And then it's between Jey Uso and Jon Moxley. I think Jey Uso's reign, it's going to be short, obviously. I think it ends by either Money in the Bank. Well, no, it ends by either June 9th or it ends by SummerSlam. I think either way, he's going to have like the second best run here. I think he'll have a better run than John Cena and Oba. He has a lot of things right now going on. It's already started off pretty dang good with the whole Seth Rollins stuff. My bad. It didn't start off good because of Logan Paul. It got better because of the Seth Rollins stuff being added into it. Then you have the Gunther edition now. So like he has like a lot of possible routes. I just think the Logan Paul stuff is going to really not make it the greatest in the world, but it'll still be a pretty dang good run nonetheless. I think people that are going to call him a transitional champion, I mean, okay, sure, he is a transitional champion, but at least he's going to have a really great run with it and probably have the best world title run for WWE this year. And then I think Jon Moxley is going to be the best champion. I think Jon Moxley has been the best champion of the four, and I think he will, going forward, continue to be the best champion. I think remove the Death Riders from the equation for like 2 seconds. Jon Moxley looks perfect. Jon Moxley is playing this role to an absolute T. He is killing it, and he is really backpacking the men's division right now because I think he's been the best thing in it. Add in the Death Riders, now things look a little funky if you're going to be real. Things look a little funky because the rest of that group is just not interesting. Also, Gabe Kidd apparently is a part of the Death Riders, so I was wrong on that front. Okay. I thought he was going to be part of the Elite. Maybe he was just there for the promo. Maybe he's just there to hype up Anarchy in the Arena. Who knows? Also, that Jon Moxley promo was just the greatest freaking promo that Jon Moxley has ever done, which is saying a lot because a lot of his promos are absolutely elite. So, yeah, no, I think going forward, he's going to continue to be great. Death Riders, look at, man, you can only carry mid so far, and he's taken it from an F to a D plus C minus. Okay, he's made them at least look competent enough. Maybe Gabe Kidd does help this out a lot more because now you have more interesting people in this group. Also, Gabe Kidd looks so much like Jon Moxley. It's really, really insane. But yeah, I think it's going to be great going forward. I think if it ends at All In, it's going to end in a really great way with Hangman Adam Page probably winning. I don't think it's going to be Will Ospreay. Eddie Kingston will likely get involved in this somehow. If it ends later with Darby Allin, who I guess shout out to him, he did just climb Mount Everest today. It's going to be a great way to end it off. I think going forward, this is going to be a really great, like the rest of this run for Jon Moxley is going to be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I would give all these guys like current grades. I would give Oba about a D. I would give John Cena about a D as well. Like I'll go a D plus just because like it's only been about 2 months. Jey Uso right now I'd probably give him about like a B plus, and Jon Moxley I'd probably give about a B plus. I think again, you factoring in the Death Riders, that's why I lowered a little bit. Just him, if it's just him, I'm giving it an A minus. I think he's been absolutely fantastic as a champion. It's just adding in the Death Riders, I got to go down to like a B plus as well. I would probably say Jey Uso leans a bit more towards the B, and I think Jon Moxley is like a little more towards the B plus, but like just barely even though. I think you could put both these guys in literally the exact same bracket, and I would understand it completely. Now, as far as the top women's champions, first up we have Stephanie Valkyr. I'm going to be real with you. I think this run's about to end, and this run has just been painfully mid. This has been just absolutely atrocious of a run. It's basically just as bad as Oba Femi's, in my opinion. You really have put her against top competitors with literally no storylines whatsoever. There's just not much there, in my opinion. Maybe if it doesn't end at Battleground, it gets better going forward, but I personally just don't see it getting better because NXT storytelling has just been awful this year. Like, the best thing going right now is the Channing Stacks, Tony D'Angelo stuff. Other than that, these storylines have been awful, man. It just hasn't been good in my opinion, and I think Stephanie Valkyr is gonna suffer from that. She's not gonna have literally any kind of storylines and just having matches that I don't even think are that great to begin with. But honestly, the biggest problem when it comes to Stephanie Valkyr is I just feel like the face run isn't working. I don't think that she looks like a face. I think she gives off heel. Again, I think I said before, but you have devil horns on the woman. Why would you try to make her a face just because everybody likes her behind? Like, that just doesn't make any sense in my opinion. So, yeah, I think her run is just not going to get great because she's a face when she should be playing a heel. It'd be way better. Io Sky, this is an interesting one because I think Io Sky's run can get better. I really, really do. I just think right now, I don't see it getting better. Like, maybe Asuka and Kairi come back, and maybe Asuka turns heel or Kairi turns heel. I mean, if Dakota Kai would have been the one, would have probably been a lot better, but whatever. I just don't even think like Asuka returning and becoming a heel against Io is going to be the greatest thing in the world, in my opinion. I think it'd be pretty cool, but does Asuka dethrone Io? Maybe not. If it's Rhea, which she's still involved in this Rhea stuff. She was involved with the Rhea stuff for like 2-3 months now. I mean, look, the best thing about Io right now is just that her charisma is off the charts, and she's becoming more and more of a star, and really, really is getting over with the crowd and all that. I think the rest of this run, though, is gonna be just fine. I think it's gonna be, a lot of her charisma. It's gonna look great because we're gonna be loving the and all that stuff. But in terms of just like the quality of the run, like the feuds, the storylines, the matches, probably not the greatest thing in the world, especially if she continues feuding with Rhea. So yeah, no. For Stephanie right now, I'd probably give like a D-. I'm gonna be real with you. I think that they're just doing horrible with her. I think they could have done so much better with her. They just made her a heel. Io, I think the way they're booking her is like a D+. The way she looks is an absolute A, like an A+, because she looks great. It's just they're booking her horribly because they got her involved in stupid Rhea stuff every 5 seconds. So yeah, I think I would give her, I'm going to give her overall, like, I think a C right now. I think her run could be a lot better, and maybe if her run is a way better than I'm imagining, then I would push her up a little higher. As far as Tiffany Stratton, let's see. I think her run is about to get a lot better, man. I think this Charlotte Flair feud really helped this run out, because I'm starting to see a lot of growth in Tiffany Stratton. I think the past few matches now, she's looked amazing. The match against Jade, the match against Nia, she's looked just absolutely awesome. I don't know if it's the pressure from the whole Mariah May situation, but she's starting to look like as if she can be a competent champion. I think that like the belt just doesn't look good on her. I don't know. She needs to find a different way to hold that damn belt. But yeah, no, I think that she's improving a lot over this past like month or so. Well, like month or 2 months. She's I don't know when this run ends. I don't know when it is. Maybe it ends at Money in the Bank. Maybe it ends at SummerSlam. But I think the rest of this run is going to be what WWE wanted the first half of this run to be, which was great matches, and kind of finally figuring out a spot with her character. I do think the thing right now with her is that they really still haven't found out they want her to be a face or a heel, so she kind of flops in between both of them. People will say that this is good. It's not really the greatest, and it's because like this is storytelling, okay? We don't need somebody just going back and forth, or at least we don't need most of the roster going back and forth. You still do need heels and faces, because that is what wrestling is supposed to be. You're telling a story between a lot of times a good character, a bad character, or two good characters fighting for, just to get over the other one, and, pushing each other to be great, or two bad characters going against each other, trying to do whatever it can be to take the other one down. When you have a tweener and another tweener, which you've kind of been doing for a minute now, because I don't think Jade is necessarily a face. I don't think that that Charlotte was necessarily a heel. It's like you're not really doing like the greatest of, storytelling. You're more so just doing matches. You're just doing like UFC in a sense, and that's not what wrestling is. Like when people say that like AEW only does wrestling, it does wrestling, but it still has stories within said wrestling. You saw the face, the heel, you have the face and the face, the heel and the heel. It's a lot better. And I feel like when you do the tweener thing, you really need to like lean into something, and that's what makes them both tweeners, instead of just kind of, doing what they did with Charlotte and Tiffany, where it was literally just talking shit about each other the entire time. It didn't really work, but I think that for some reason it also did work for Tiffany, because she's looked a lot better since that feud. So I think overall I would give her about like a C from start to now. I'll give her about a C. It definitely started out as like a D, and it's jumped its way up because she's improving. And again, y'all know I don't like Tiffany Stratton at all. So for me to be giving her flowers, for me, that's big. That's big, and that's saying a whole lot about Tiffany Stratton. Now for Toni Storm, oh baby, if y'all weren't calling me an AEW mark before, you're about to call me the biggest mark in the world right now, because this has been an A+. This has been absolutely phenomenal. Picture perfect. I really wish I could use her last run. I can't. I'm only going to count from Grand Slam to now. But like, if you take everything in totality from the last run to this run and everything in the middle, this has just been the greatest thing that I've seen. And that's why I say that she is the biggest star in wrestling right now. She has just been going crazy with it. Sorry, I was looking at my notes while I kept looking over here. I just didn't think that she'd become such a megastar that she's become after the Mariah May feud. Like, I was thinking that this would happen during the feud and not after it. I think because everybody's seen how great that feud was, more eyes got on Toni Storm. And it's crazy to say, but like, I feel like she's kind of had like an evolution of her character since the Mariah May feud and has become that much better all around. Like, it's crazy to say, but I think Toni Storm has been great right now. I think she's set up to have great matches against Jamie and Mercedes at All In. I like what's going to be happening going forward because she's definitely going to be losing that belt at All In. I don't think she's going to be winning. I will say if she wins, okay, we got to drop it down from an A+ because she don't need that win at all. She needs to lose and get out of the title scene for just a little bit, maybe about like a year or so. But yeah, no, I think just going forward, the rest of this run, it's going to be phenomenal. I think she's going to have a phenomenal feud against Jamie or Mercedes. She's going to have, great stuff with Mina. If Mariah does return, it's going to make things just 10 times even better. Mariah May could easily cost Toni Storm at All In, and that's how we get Jamie Hayter going over Toni or Mercedes going over Toni. Either way, though, I think she's been the best champion by far in a way. I think there's not really anybody that actually comes close to her when it comes to just being the best champion right now between these three promotions and really just right now in wrestling. But shout out to my girl Athena because she also doing her thing as well, killing it with ROH, been literally backpacking the company. The reason that it's alive today is because of Miss Athena. But now for the men's mid-card champions, we have Ricky Saints, Noam Dar, Dominic Mysterio, Jacob Fatu, Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, and Adam Cole. Want to get all those out of the way. And I'm going to tell you right now, every single one of them has just been whatever. I'm just going to very simplistic way to say this. They have all just been every one of them. Jacob Fatu ain't really done much, since getting the U.S. title. He was involved in a weird fatal four-way. I don't really mind the fatal four-way. I thought it was like really random that it was a fatal four-way, not like a one-on-one match. He's still involved in the damn LA Knight stuff, and I'm just, even going like after the match, still involved in LA Knight stuff. Ricky Saints ain't done much of anything, still involved in Ethan Page stuff, even though I should have ended up stand deliver. Noam Dar got the damn Heritage Cup, and I ain't seen that man since. Dominic Mysterio, he's still in Judgment Day, and it's becoming like Damian Priest 2.0 now, where like he's literally going, like him and Liv are going to leave. It's just, what, are they going to get replaced by another dude and a woman? Like, no, it's just becoming so Damian Priest at this point, which I think for Damian Priest, it was great. For Dom, it's not great because I just don't like the way it's going because I don't think it's good with Finn. I don't think it's good with Finn at all. Like, Finn with Damian last year was great. Finn with Dom right now, it's just not the most interesting. Kenny Omega is literally just is doing everything but the international stuff at this point. He's over here feuding with the Young Bucks and feuding with the Death Riders and all that stuff, doing everything but international stuff. Kazuchika Okada, the exact same thing. Obviously, they're just like, just waiting until these guys have their match All In. I think they've had both great matches, especially Kenny Omega, but not really doing much. Adam Cole, I'm going to be real with you. Has this guy defended his belt since winning it? I don't know if he has, and it's been like an entire month and like 2 months now since Dynasty? Well, no, it's been all of April and then all of May. I don't think the man defended his belt at all. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't, or at least he only had like one defense. So, yeah, no, he has really nothing going on right now. Yeah, if I had to say for the rest of their runs going forward, I think Ricky Saints' run is going to be kind of cool. It's going to be kind of cool. There ain't much there, though. There's nobody in the mid-card that I think is going to give him a great storyline or any kind of great matches. Noam Dar, the Heritage Cup kind of just gets treated like whatever. I think the only Heritage Cup champion that actually got treated like something was Tony D'Angelo. Dominic Mysterio is an interesting one because I feel like it can get great going forward. It definitely can. It just depends on if they're moving from the Judgment Day or not. And I don't think they're going to remove him from the Judgment Day until the run ends. And I just don't like that personally. So if he's with Judgment Day for the rest of this run, no, I don't think it's going to be that great. If he leaves, I think it could be really, really good. But I don't want to see him as like a baby face, though. I want to see him more as like an MJF type of face, where he still has his scummy behavior, but we all love him for it because it's Dominic Mysterio. Jacob Fatu, I do think he's going to go on an amazing run. It's just, he's got to get away from the LA Knight stuff, and he's got to get away from the Solo Sikoa stuff. If we don't do Jacob versus Solo until WrestleMania, oh my God, no. No, this needs to happen at SummerSlam or something, man, because like there's a possibility that Solo could win Money in the Bank, and that's why they keep Solo and Jacob together. Then Solo gets the world title. Jacob at some point drops the U.S. title and gets the world title from Solo, but it's just like, I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. I could actually see that happening. That'd be a great way to give Jacob Fatu the belt without having to take it off of Cody or John Cena. So, yeah, Jacob Fatu's whole entire run might just be centered around this guy eventually getting the world title. I hope that he could save the U.S. title, but I just think that it's probably going to be a thing of like, it's not going to work either, even with Jacob, because he's becoming a face. I think it needs like a really big time heel or some like U.S. champion John Cena type run where he's just doing opens every single dang week. Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada, depends on if they end up holding, like whoever holds the unified belt, they do unify the belts. I think both guys will have great runs with it. But they'll be like really short runs. I think as of right now, they've both just been, well, as of right now, Kazuchika Okada barely even there. I don't think he's had one big feud for the Continental belt. And then Kenny Omega has been there a lot, but I don't know if he's going to have like that great of a run, or if it's going to be more of a thing of like, we're giving him the Grand Slam champion and yay. Or I guess, no, he'll be the first guy to hold all five belts, right? It's the World Championship, Trios Championship, Tag Team Championship, International Championship, yeah. So he'll be like a, what the hell do you even call that? A 5 for 5? 5 for 5. Yeah, there we go. He'll be a 5 for 5. He'll be the first 5 for 5 in AEW's history. Probably one of the last 5 for 5s as well. I think Jon Moxley may be that guy as well in the future, but probably not. So, yeah, I think Kenny Omega is just going to be pretty cool. Kazuchika Okada's will be just pretty cool. And then Adam Cole's, if they turn him heel, yes, it can be elite. But are they going to turn him heel is the issue. Nobody knows. I wish they would. It looks like the Grizzled Young Veterans might be the reason why he turns heel. Maybe, just maybe, Adam Cole aligns with the Grizzled Young Veterans instead of the Paragon. I don't know. Probably not. Maybe the Grizzled Young Veterans align with the Paragon. I hate the fact that I keep calling them Paragon, but the group's like name is Paragon. It means excellence and perfection and all that stuff. You gotta be a heel, man. You can't be a damn face. It don't make any sense. So, yeah, no. I think unless he turns heel, it's just probably not going to work out. Person that could have like the best run here is easily Jacob Fatu. I think he's the one that could have an awesome run. It's just I don't see much in SmackDown's U.S. division unless they make some big-time switches between both sides. I don't think it's going to happen. No, because there's not even any baby faces outside of LA Knight. I mean, Aleister Black is there, but like, that's really it. It's just LA Knight and Aleister Black. So, yeah, no. Unless he turns baby face and then he goes up against the heels, but the heels aren't really the greatest heels in the world. So, yeah, I'm going to give it to Jacob Fatu. If Adam Cole turns heel, maybe, but I'm going to give it to Jacob Fatu. All right, we got 2 more. Women's mid-card champion, Sol Ruca, Lyra Valkyria, Zelina Vega, Mercedes Moné. Sol Ruca has, in a weird lesbian possessive storyline with Zarya that's literally never been hinted at before until now. So I'm guessing that we're going to get Temu, Mariah May, Toni Storm, except just a lot more forced and feels very, I don't know, this feels very disturbing. Like, y'all ever read like a BL and it just feels like a very disturbing BL that you're like, gay relationships can't be like this, right? Like they can't, right? I don't know. This one just make me want to turn my TV off. I ain't gonna lie to you. Zelina Vega, I would probably give Sol Ruca about like going forward. Maybe the Zarya storyline could actually be really great. Maybe it can. I'm going to say the run is great. If it is great, it's because of Zarya playing this weird, psychotic, possessive, manipulative character. And I would say that Sol Ruca probably has at the highest, a B- for her North American title reign. I think Kalani Jordan's probably still had like the best one, or Fallon Henley. But I think Sol Ruca could have a really, really great one if Zarya does continue to play in this character pretty well, which I think right now she actually is doing, and I'm glad that she's playing a heel. Also, her not being a 2K25 still annoyed the hell out of me. I don't get why. Now, as far as Zelina Vega, though, I'm going to be real with you. My goodness. I have it written in my notes. She feels like a DEI champion. She literally feels like she was given the belt because you just needed somebody of color to have the belt. That's all this feels like. It does not feel like you wanted to give this woman the belt because she deserved to have the belts. No. It feels like, hey, man, we don't need anybody calling us racist. Let's put the belt on Zelina Vega because, you know, she needs to win it because she's so great. And yeah, no, they done nothing with her. Her theme sucks. Her matches have just been the exact same person over and over and over and over. I already talked about the whole thing with Chelsea Green while she's still in this dang feud. I don't really get it. I would have taken her out of it personally. So yeah, but I feel like the whole thing just with her and Chelsea and all them, it's gotta end. I don't think it's going to end. And I think if anything, she's gonna get dethroned by Julia within like the next few weeks, probably at Money in the Bank. If not at Money in the Bank, probably like at Evolution or something like that. And then we're gonna get Julia's run, and I think Julia's run is gonna be absolutely elite. Sorry, Zelina Vega. I just don't think WWE is gonna really give you much. And it's starting to look more and more like this belt was given to her literally just because of Aleister Black. And it's like, wow. We could do something with a talent like Zelina Vega. We can make her a heel. We could do a lot of great things with her. But WWE's like, nah, let's give her the belt for a few weeks, shut all the fans up, and then we'll put it on Julia because we just don't care about Zelina at all. As far as Lyra Valkyria, Lyra is an interesting one because I feel like the start of her run has had great matches, not the greatest storylines. And a lot of storylines I feel like they're left unclosed, especially the Dakota one, the Ivy one for sure as well. Right now, though, it looks great. The stuff against Becky Lynch is absolutely phenomenal. We got to see what it looks like going forward, but I think right now it's just absolutely phenomenal. And I think going forward, I think until the end of her run, which I see probably ending at Evolution, I could see her having a really, really great run going forward. Obviously, a lot of it's going to be predicated on the fact that when does she come back from her injury? Is she coming back looking like Tokoyama? Or is that her name? Yeah, Tokoyama from MHA. Or is she not going to wear a mask because we don't really want her to look especially like Bird Lady? That also might bury the freak out of her, man, by having her look like a Bird Lady, already calling her Bird Lady, and then Becky Lynch starts pulling all these puns out. So, yeah, probably not the best to do. My arm was getting tired. That's why I put that dang little tiny mic down. I don't know how folks be holding a mic for like 30, 45 minutes, an hour. Like, I personally can't do it. But yeah, no, I think Lyra Valkyria's run has been pretty damn good so far, honestly. I think it's going to end really well, too. I think going forward it's going to be absolutely amazing. It's between really her and Mercedes for who I think is going to have the better run. I think right now Mercedes has had fantastic matches for the TBS title. She had a really awesome feud against Chris Statlander. We got to see what happens going forward because I feel like right now with her being involved in the world title scene, she's not doing much with the TBS title. So it's like her and Lyra both are not really doing much of their title right now because one's injured and one's involved in world title stuff. So it's like, where does Mercedes go going forward? Does she eventually have a match at All In for the TBS title? Does she still just kind of stay away from the TBS title and do the world title stuff? Mind you, she does have 4 belts, so I kind of give her a little leniency here because she has been defending the Rev Pro belt and the New Japan belt. So it's like, yeah, I think right now I would say probably a tie with both of them. I think both of them have been like a B+. Just overall, I would say probably a tie. I think the only thing that I could say that would hold Lyra back is that the beginning of her run didn't really have any great feuds. It really is just a Becky Lynch feud. But to be fair, Mercedes, beginning of her run, had great feuds, and then towards the end of it hasn't really done much because she's involved in the world title stuff or involved in other title stuff. So it's like, you can kind of make the claim for both of them as well. So I think I'm going to go ahead and say a tie between these two. If I just had to pick, I'm going to go with Lyra Valkyria. I think Lyra Valkyria going forward will have a much better end of her run than Mercedes will, unless Mercedes does get involved in some big stuff with Athena or potentially Mina Shirakawa or potentially Megan Bayne. And even then, I think just it might not top Lyra versus Becky. And potentially, if she does beat Becky, Lyra versus Roxanne, which we know will be just as phenomenal as well. Now, as far as the tag teams, okay, we're going to go ahead and just get rid of one tag team right now. Hank and Tank, boring. Oh, and New Day, boring. Both of them, boring. You can just go ahead and not talk about them. Absolute Fs. Well, no. Hank and Tank have been a D+. I think they at least have some charisma. New Day, they've been a big, fat F. Sucked, garbage. Don't really care about them as champions. I'm going to be real with you, man. This right here just ain't need to happen. This did not need to happen at all. We did not need to give these boys the belts. Now, here's the things get weird. Street Profits and Hurt Syndicate. I don't know how to grade them. Well, let me say it back. I don't know how to grade them for their respective companies because Street Profits would be elite in AEW because they've had nothing but great matches and not really like focused on stories, which AEW focuses on stories, but not all the time, especially their tag division. The tag division usually just great matches. Hurt Syndicate haven't had great matches, but they've had a great story. So it's like, I don't really know. Like, if we just swap them companies, I'd give them both an A+. I'm going to give them both an A+ regardless because I think that, no, I can't give them both an A+. I'm going to give them both a B+. I'm going to give them both a B+ because I feel like at least there's been something there with the storylines as far as Street Profits has been not the greatest in the world, but it's been, at least great enough for what WWE has been doing as of recent with their tag division, which is just matches, very little storylines. Pretty Deadly would have been absolutely fantastic right now, I'll tell you that. But yeah, no. Hurt Syndicate, I'm going to also give them a B+ because they've had at least some great matches. The match against Top Flight was really dang good. I thought the match against, what was that? I'm blinking on the match. The Guns, I thought that was a pretty good match. But for the most part, I think there's been just way better storylines, and then for the Street Profits, way better matches. But I'll say this, though. I'm actually going to boost it up to an A+ again because the Street Profits have made the tag division much better in WWE. After DIY kind of had like that flop match against MCMG at Royal Rumble, things kind of started going back to where the tag division was going. I think Street Profits getting the belts improved it again because they're absolutely phenomenal wrestlers who have not fallen off like DIY has. Hurt Syndicate has added stories to the tag division, has actually made things a lot more interesting. Now you really want to check out the Hurt Syndicate. You really want to watch the tag division because you're like, well, dang, can they have a great story with the Hurt Syndicate too? I would love to see them. And now the whole Dustin and Sammy stuff, that's going to be really good. They're going to get probably multiple tag belts, not Dustin and Sammy. It's going to be the Hurt Syndicate. I think going forward, the Street Profits are going to just continue to put on amazing matches. They're going to face Fraxium next. Maybe they lose, maybe they don't. Who the heck knows? But they're going to continue to have great matches going forward. Maybe even get like a triple threat match because somebody maybe like DIY will get involved. MCMG will also get involved. Got a fatal four-way match. Maybe we get a triple threat match with those three teams going against each other. And then whoever wins between those three teams goes on to face Street Profits. That also attributes to the story as well because it's not Street Profits, but it is involved in the whole tag division, in the whole tag title scene. Hurt Syndicate, they're just going to have a great story going forward because I think Hurt Syndicate is going to be absolutely elite in AEW. They already look like a way better version than they did before in WWE, but still got to give it time. But yeah, no, like I said, overall, Toni Storm has been carrying the championship scene. She has been carrying the hell out of it. She has done everything she can to just be the greatest freaking women's champion in wrestling history. And she looks phenomenal while doing so. Like, when I call Roxanne Perez mic work a second coming of AJ Lee's, I call Toni Storm a second coming of AJ Lee. The mic and character work and the charisma are off the charts. This woman is a legend in the making. This woman is literally going to be in the top 5 women all time. She is just like, I just don't know. Like, even to this day, I still do not understand what did WWE not see? Because she had a phenomenal feud against Alba Fire. So, like, what did you not see? Vince McMahon, how did you not see this from Toni Storm? Do you really just not care about the women's division that much? You're like, whatever, man. I got Becky, I got Sasha, I got Charlotte, I got Bayley, I got more coming on the way. Like, I just don't care. Or was it just a thing of like he was not paying attention at all in the slightest, but not even just Vince, Triple H as well, because he did nothing with her in NXT. NXT UK, she looked great. NXT, she did basically more or less nothing. So it's like, I don't know what nobody saw in Toni Storm, but this woman is arguably the greatest women's wrestler of all dang time. But my voice is going to absolute shits, so I'm going to go ahead and head on out for now, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Definitely hope y'all did enjoy this episode. Hopefully I can get it out on Sunday, which is the day that I'm recording this. I am dying. Hopefully I can get another episode out in a couple of days. Got to rest my voice up, though. But y'all have a great one. Remember, if you're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get the name podcast at, like, follow, share, rate, comment, notification bells, all that great stuff. Definitely does help the podcast out so much. Appreciate all y'all that are checking the podcast out. Y'all have a great one, though, y'all. I'm out. Peace.